All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here talking about real music and doing it in real time for a few real people out there just like you and just like me. So, the 2024 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, they've been induced. And I've got the list here, and I'm going to do a little bit of commentary on the list of folks who were inducted. First, congratulations to Foreigner. All right. It's got my hot blooded t-shirt on here. Super duper long overdue. Mick Jones is 79 years old. All right. So way too long. This should have happened like 20 years ago, but supposedly there was somebody at the hall that was keeping Foreigner out. They're now in, so congratulations to them. Before I do my cutting edge analysis of these folks that got inducted, here's a band you might want to check out. The band is called Grand, and this is their album called Second to None. Came out earlier this year. If you like the music of, say, Journey, Foreigner, and there's some other things mixed in with this, it does have its own vibe, and it tends to be just really good original sounding AOR music. So another great band from Sweden that nobody here in the United States really cares about, but I continue to do my thing and put it out there in case folks want to listen to something new. Grand, Second to None. Their first album was just called Grand, so you can go listen to that as well. Now, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has announced their 2024 class of inductees, and they are Mary J. Blige, Cher, the Dave Matthews Band, Foreigner, Peter Frampton, Kool and the Gang, Ozzy Osbourne, and a Tribe Called Quest. All right, so let me take these one by one. First of all, Mary J. Blige gets in. Now, this got me thinking, right? So she's this great R&B singer. I'm really not into her too much. I remember when she first came out, she had a song called Real Love, I think, that when I was a DJ, so she's been around for a while. I think I was playing this song doing the club scene. And so it was kind of hip hoppy, house music, whatever you want to call it. It's really not rock and roll. So let me just throw this out there. Now, there have been a number of female R&B artists that are getting into the Hall of Fame. The female ones are getting in. We also had a Tribe Called Quest, which just doesn't even belong on this list, but here we are. And I got to thinking, there are a number of amazing sorry, they're men. I think by the old standard, these guys are men, right? And they're not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But I think their careers, based on the induction here of Mary J. Blige, I think they deserve to get in. And so here's my short list here. Luther Vandross, one of the greatest singers who ever walked the face of planet Earth. Luther Vandross. Okay. Teddy Pendergrass, kind of a no-brainer. Comes from an amazing stock and impacted the world for like a generation or so. Jeffrey Osborne, who is still getting a ton of radio airplay out there. Has a great voice, one of a kind, was involved with some of the great producers of the 80s and probably in the 70s as well. James Ingram, the late, great James Ingram. I just don't understand how, you put someone in of a more modern era, and my first four here are insanely good. Next, you got Billy Ocean. Now, some people think Billy's a little cartoonish, but he's so cool. He's so fun, and he's a great singer. He should be in. He should definitely be in. If you're going to do that, the other stuff, Billy Ocean. Freddie Jackson. another insanely good R&B singer who I think a lot of people have forgotten about. Peabo Bryson, right? Who I think won Grammys and some other kinds of awards. Peabo, maybe just the name Peabo disqualifies him. I'm not sure, but another insanely good R&B singer. And finally, those guys are all African Americans because I was trying to go with, okay, what are they going for when it comes to the Hall of Fame? Is it just women? Is it women of color? My last name on this list will, of course, tick a lot of people off, but Michael Bolton deserves to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for crying out loud. And he wrote a bunch of his own stuff. You know, he had other people's stuff, but, you know, an insanely great singer who certainly started off with one foot or both feet in the world of rock and then eventually figured out, hey, I've got this great R&B voice. So I used to hate Michael Bolton. Now I think I was wrong about hating him. So that's my list. Luther Vandross is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If you're going to start doing this stuff, and by the way, I'm not saying you should do this stuff. I mean, the R&B Singer Hall of Fame, the Rhythm and Blues Hall, I mean, whatever you want to call it. These guys aren't rock and roll, right? Michael Bolton, early days, yes. But the rest of that list, no, just phenomenal singers, great songs, and great arrangements. And if Luther isn't in, I don't know how you put Mary J. Blige in before Luther Vandross. I just don't get it. I don't get it. All right, so let's take a look at the rest of this list. Dave Matthews Band. It's a rock band, okay? You're gonna put Dave Matthews Band in. We still don't have Blue Oyster Cult. We don't have the Guess Who. We don't have America. We don't have Steppenwolf, but we're gonna throw Dave Matthews Band in. Okay, cool. Whatever. Foreigner, which again, super overdue, long overdue. Peter Frampton. Yay, another good one. Another good choice. Well, you're just picking all the white guys, old white guys that you like. Yeah, that's it. I just gave you a list of, if we're going to put Mary J. Blige in, then you need to put Luther Vandross in. Okay, because he's the best. All right, he is, if not the best, he's one of the best R&B singers, just singers in general of all time. I think Steve Perry would agree with me about Luther Vandross. I don't know why that popped in my head, but guys who love R&B, they just know. They say to themselves, yup, he's 100 times better than anything I could do. And I'm not saying this about Steve Perry, but great R&B singers are just the greatest. They're better singers than rock singers. So again, if you're going to do this, if you're going to put all these people in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that don't necessarily qualify as rock, then get your act together and do a better job of putting people in who don't belong there. Okay? I know that makes no sense. So Peter Frampton, his guitar work is stellar. His catalog is very underrated. And yes, he should be in the Hall of Fame. I wonder if Humble Pie should be in the Hall of Fame. Just putting that out there. Just throwing it out there. I know it's crazy talk, right? Next, we got Kool in the Gang. Yeah, I said this when they were nominated, especially their early days where they were really doing some serious funk, okay? And then they evolved into this sort of adult contemporary R&B band. And yeah, put them in. Put them in. There's tons of history there. There's a lot of fun. So put them in. I'm okay with it. Are there better nominees than Kool in the Gang? Well, probably. Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah, because just Ozzy is bigger than life. And just everybody wanted to be Ozzy. And especially those first 2 or 3 albums, just blockbuster stuff. And he continues to kind of reinvent himself, even on his last album. So yeah, Ozzy should go in, although this breaks a real cardinal rule for the Hall of Fame is Ozzy is in already with Black Sabbath, and he's a dude, right? He's a white dude who gets in a second time as a solo artist. Remember when they made the big deal where Stevie Nicks got in, and now she's in there twice, once with Fleetwood Mac, and they said that was groundbreaking and earth-shattering and ceiling-shattering and all that. They're not going to say anything about Ozzy getting in. I think Ozzy getting into where, how much time does he have left on planet Earth? Probably not a lot. So I think some of putting him in is about just doing a good thing toward the end of this guy's life. That's the way I look at it. And yes, he deserves to be in. He definitely deserves to be in. Again, I would look back, though, to some of the things that aren't in. I think of Jim Croce not being in. I think of Dan Fogelberg not being in. I know it's a different genre. Dan Fogelberg is not in the Hall of Fame. It's just, oh, it's not the right kind of music, Dave. He didn't impact youth culture. He's too philosophical. His voice is too pristine. So, nope, can't put Dan Fogelberg in there. Finally, we've got A Tribe Called Quest. Question mark. I what can you say? I don't know. I don't know. Look, if this year is an indication of what, the future is going to be like for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they did do better this year. They did. You have Peter Frampton, Foreigner, Ozzy Osbourne. Oh, I forgot about Cher. I skipped over Cher. Now, the funny thing about Cher is she said she didn't want to be in the Hall of Fame. She told them, I think, to go F themselves at one point. So I'm wondering if she's going to show up to pick up her Hall of Fame plaque or whatever it is they give you. I mean, trophy. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Do I think Cher? Yeah, Cher should be it. It's sad, that Sonny Bono isn't here, because Sonny and Cher, that was a very influential thing that happened in the 60s. And here we are a million years later, and Cher has had a lot of work done, and she's still got all of her hair, and she's dating some dude who's like 25 years younger than her or something like that. So she's still being Cher. I would probably put her in there for the stuff she did in the 80s, but she's been everywhere for decades, right? So, yeah, you got to put her in there. But she didn't want this. She told everybody, she gave everybody the middle finger. So it's going to be kind of interesting. Maybe she's not going to attend. Maybe somebody will accept on her behalf. Maybe her boyfriend can accept for her. So some interesting stuff, folks. I don't know what you think about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's still a bit of a joke because they really should be focusing on all the stuff that's not in and all the stuff that's really rock and roll. And if we're going to put R&B singers in there, then again, my list here is pretty comprehensive. Luther Vandross, Teddy Pendergrass, Jeffrey Osborne, James Ingram, Billy Ocean, Freddie Jackson, Peabo Bryson, and Michael Bolton. Yeah. So maybe next year you just do R&B singer inductions, right? To make up for the ones that you missed. If you're going to do this stuff, then you got to do it more chronologically and then kind of recognize the stuff that came before. I don't know. You're skipping like a generation. And there are probably ladies, right? Female R&B singers from the 70s and 80s and maybe even into the 90s that have been snubbed now that Mary J. Blige is in. I'm not sure what separates Mary J. Blige from all of these other people that probably should be in before her. She's a great, by the way, she is a great singer. No question about it. I'm not arguing that she has no talent. I'm just perplexed. I'm perplexed. It's like, maybe you've got to know somebody. Maybe you've got to, how do you skip ahead, get to the front of the line when people will cut you and they'll say, yeah, I was here. And you're like, no, you weren't there. I didn't see you there before, but okay. Even though there's a huge line and these other people should get in before you, I don't know. They might have some sort of way to cut the line. Dave Matthews Band, I think, kind of cut the line. But then again, we're putting in stuff from the 90s and we've just moved on. Unless it's MC5, which will probably be nominated again next year. Who knows? Maybe they've given up on MC5. I don't know. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on congratulations again to Foreigner. It's about freaking time. Okay. Foreigner, thank you for just hanging in there and keeping the band going. That's Mick Jones and Kelly Hansen. By the way, Kelly doesn't deserve to get in with everybody. Sorry. If they didn't put Jason Scheff or Bill Champlin in with Chicago, which they could have because the band was still active and charting songs, and they realigned the band in the 80s. They only really recognized the original Chicago when they put Chicago in, and I'm thinking they're doing the same thing here with Foreigner, but still, it's a big achievement, and that's cool. Grand, second to none. If you're looking for some new material to listen to, you like the music from the 80s that was on rock radio stations at the time, this kind of fits the bill. And thanks for watching, everybody. Still fighting the algorithm and losing every single day. That's why I need your support. Patreon, YouTube memberships, and buy me a coffee. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. Use the little drop-down menu and select all for notifications. People are still telling me that they're not getting notifications mysteriously. I didn't even know you did a video today, Dave. That's always great. All right, folks. Thanks again. God bless everyone. Pray for peace in the Middle East and around the world. And I will see you soon.